Hey, mighty man of God, it's Dr. Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become great men God's way by providing with real answers to real problems in the real world and helping them win at what matters and even frustrates them the most as husbands, fathers, and spiritual leaders. I got to ask you a question. How do you look at life? How are you seeing your life? Now, when I say how do you see your life, I'm talking about when you face the day-to-day ins and outs, ups and downs, lefts and rights, you name the direction of life when it gets tough and it gets rough. I want to know, how do you see life? I want to know what lens do you look through life? Do you look through a window, or do you look at life through a mirror? Let me ask that again. Do you look at life through a mirror, or do you look through life through a window? You say, Joe, what in the world are you talking about? And what difference does it make? Oh, it makes a huge difference. Now, I haven't met a man yet who doesn't want to be successful as a husband, a father, or spiritual leader. Just that we struggle with knowing how to do it. That's why I shoot videos like this, these man training videos, these ride-along videos like this, to kind of give you a peek into what I'm learning from working with men all over the world, all over the country, and coaching them, mentoring them, and discipling them. And what I'm learning in my own life as a man, as a husband, as a father, now getting ready, hopefully, to get into those years where if my kids get married and have kids, that I'll become a grandfather. But what I can tell you is this, that your life can be determined on your outlook. Your life will be determined on your outlook. How do you see life? How do you see problems? How do you see opportunities? How do you see failure? How do you see success? How do you see challenges? How do you see obstacles? Do you look through windows, or do you look through mirrors? Now, let me be more specific to help you understand and why it's so important. See, most of the side, I always believe that one of the best advice I've ever received, if you want to be successful at life in anything, watch what most people do and then go in the opposite direction. Do the total opposite of what you see most people doing. Even the Bible tells us, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be conformed by the renewing of your mind. Don't follow the world. Don't follow the crowd. And most of the world are looking through the lens of who to blame. This is the reason why I can't succeed. This is the reason why I can't make it. This is the reason why the country is messed up. This is the reason why we're going to hell in a handbasket. This is the reason why people can't get along with each other. This is they're always looking. Most people love to look at life through a window. They're looking out the window to see who they can blame. It started in the garden with Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve ran into some problems after eating that fruit, Adam didn't look in the mirror. What did Adam do? He looked through the window and he saw Eve and said, God, it's that woman that you gave me. So let's flip the script and go to the opposite direction. What do you have to do? Stop looking through windows and look in the mirror. Start with you. There's a lot of things that are not your fault. I'll give you that. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying blame yourself for everything, but accept responsibility for everything, even if it ain't your fault. Now, let me get more specific in what I mean by that. There's a lot of things that happened to me growing up as a kid. I had to go through being abused physically, emotionally, verbally, as well as sexually. I had to deal with my dad not being there in the home. I had to deal with my mom going through her mental anguish. I grew up in abject poverty. I didn't ask for that stuff. I didn't ask to be there. Now, to become a statistic like most of the kids who ended up in our neighborhood, which was in prison or in a graveyard, I easily could have said, hey, looking through the window, what are my chances of ever making it out of here? None of these kids will make it out of here. I had 6 friends die before I reached the age of 16. I said, I'm not going to make it. I can't make it because everything is stacked against me. The odds are stacked against me. Society is stacked against me. The system is stacked against me. Looking through the window. But even though I didn't cause my situation, I didn't put us in poverty. I didn't ask for my parents not to stay together. I didn't ask for my dad to leave. I didn't ask for my mom to struggle emotionally. I didn't ask to be sexually abused. But in order to turn that around, I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, now all this stuff happened to you, but what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? And I had to ask God to help me see my choices now. What choices do I have now? I didn't put myself here. I didn't ask to be here, but I'm here now. What am I going to do about it? You don't like the marriage that you're in right now, maybe. You don't like what your kids do. But what are you going to do? All you're responsible for are your choices. God is sovereign. God gives us free will to make our choices, but then we have to live with the consequences of those choices. Even if circumstance has been thrust upon us, it still is how we're going to respond to what happens. Going through sexual abuse is probably one of the worst things in my life. But what I regret more is not being abused, but how I chose to respond to it after the abuse. I isolated. I withdrew. I shut down. I didn't share with anybody. What choice do I have now? I can open up. I can seek God. I can receive healing. I can get support. I can get counseling. What can you do to change your situation? Now, if you don't believe me, look at the Bible. God has given us his word in 66 love letters in the Bible. Now, you can approach that Bible from two different ways. You can read that Bible as a window to see what is wrong with the world out there, right? Wow, they're not following God. They can't stand God. Boy, they're pushing God out of the schools. They're doing this. You can look through that window and see what's wrong with the world by looking at the Bible through as a window. Or you can look at that Bible as a mirror to say, God, what does your word say about me? In my obedience to you, in my submission, in my surrender to you, in me serving you, in me interceding for other people. What can I do through the power of the Holy Spirit, God? What choices do I have by looking at this word? What does this book say about me? What sin do I need to confess? What attitude of my heart do I need to change? How can I use this to bless me? What promise can I claim here? That's looking at the Bible as a mirror. So again, I ask you, how are you looking at your life? How do you do life? Looking through a window? Or are you doing life looking in a mirror? I guarantee you, if you start looking in the mirror, you'll start making changes quicker and you'll see your life change and you'll get different results. If this has blessed you, please share with another brother who may be pointing the finger at everybody else but himself. Look in that mirror. No different, I'm looking in this camera right now. Look in the mirror at yourself and say, God, help me. Help me. Let your Holy Spirit work through me to make the changes that I need to make. Help me to stop looking out the window and help me to start looking in the mirror. Be strong, stay safe, stay connected, because real men connect, but most importantly, stay in God's grip, and I'll talk to you soon.